Come and join me on Farage. I'm Colin Brazier. I've reported from more than 70 countries around the world, covered wars from Afghanistan to Iraq, from Lebanon to the Balkans. I'm trying to bring that experience, that feel for events, to the studio. And something else, I'm ready to give an opinion. Today's stories with a spark. Brazier from 8 p.m. weekdays on GB News.
Good afternoon. This is GB News. It's nearly 3 o'clock on Christmas Day.
It's time for the defining part of any Christmas afternoon, the Queen's speech. It's her first Christmas broadcast since the death of her husband, Prince Philip, earlier this year. And we can now share that message with you. Here's Her Majesty the Queen in a pre-recorded message from Windsor Castle last week.
He is someone who doesn't take easily to compliments, but he has quite simply been my strength and stay all these years. And I and his whole family, and this and many other countries, owe him a debt greater than he would ever claim or we shall ever know. Although it's a time of great happiness and good cheer for many, Christmas can be hard for those who have lost loved ones. This year especially, I understand why. But for me, in the months since the death of my beloved Philip, I have drawn great comfort from the warmth and affection of the many tributes to his life and work, from around the country, the Commonwealth, and the world. His sense of service, intellectual curiosity, and capacity to squeeze fun out of any situation were all irrepressible. That mischievous, inquiring twinkle was as bright at the end as when I first set eyes on him. But life, of course, consists of final partings as well as first meetings. And as much as I and my family miss him, I know he would want us to enjoy Christmas. We felt his presence as we, like millions around the world, readied ourselves for Christmas. While COVID again means we can't celebrate quite as we may have wished, we can still enjoy the many happy traditions. Be it the singing of carols, as long as the tune is well known, decorating the tree, giving and receiving presents, or watching a favorite film where we already know the ending. It's no surprise that families so often treasure their Christmas routines. We see our own children and their families embrace the roles, traditions, and values that mean so much to us, as these are passed from one generation to the next, sometimes being updated for changing times. I see it in my own family, and it is a source of great happiness. Prince Philip was always mindful of this sense of passing the baton. That's why he created the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, which offers young people throughout the Commonwealth and beyond the chance of exploration and adventure. It remains an astonishing success, grounded in his faith in the future. He was also an early champion of taking seriously our stewardship of the environment, and I am proud beyond words that his pioneering work has been taken on and magnified by our eldest son, Charles, and his eldest son, William, admirably supported by Camilla and Catherine, most recently at the COP Climate Change Summit in Glasgow. Next summer, we look forward to the Commonwealth Games. The baton is currently travelling the length and breadth of the Commonwealth, heading towards Birmingham, a beacon of hope on its journey. It will be a chance to celebrate the achievements of athletes and the coming together of like-minded nations. And February, just 6 weeks from now, will see the start of my Platinum Jubilee year, which I hope will be an opportunity for people everywhere to enjoy a sense of togetherness, a chance to give thanks for the enormous changes of the last 70 years, social, scientific, and cultural, and also to look ahead with confidence. I'm sure someone somewhere today will remark that Christmas is a time for children. It's an engaging truth, but only half the story. Perhaps it's truer to say that Christmas can speak to the child within us all. Adults, when weighed down with worries, sometimes fail to see the joy in simple things, where children do not. And for me and my family, even with one familiar laugh missing this year, there will be joy in Christmas, as we have the chance to reminisce and see anew the wonder of the festive season through the eyes of our young children, of whom we were delighted to welcome 4 more this year. They teach us all a lesson, just as the Christmas story does, that in the birth of a child, there is a new dawn with endless potential. It is this simplicity of the Christmas story that makes it so universally appealing. Simple happenings that form the starting point of the life of Jesus, a man whose teachings have been handed down from generation to generation and have been the bedrock of my faith. His birth marked a new beginning. As the carol says, the hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. I wish you all a very happy Christmas.
Her Majesty the Queen there with her Christmas message, a really personal message this year, very moving, focusing on the loss of her husband, Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, and her hopes for the new year.
Yes, it was very moving. I especially like the parts about tradition in that speech. Let's get some reaction now and speak to Grant Harold, a former royal butler to Prince Charles, William and Harry. Grant, what did you make of the contents of the Queen's speech just now? You just watched it for the first time. I thought it was very personal in tone.
Good afternoon and Merry Christmas, Ellie and Bradley. As you said, it was very personal, this speech. I mean, the thing about the Queen's Christmas speech, she reflects on what's taking place in the nation, reflects on her family, and kind of shares good and bad news. And of course, this is very much been reflective, talking about the late Prince Philip, her husband. And it's quite interesting with the way she's kind of spoken there, because she's very much kind of obviously said that so many of us have lost loved ones in the past year, or in fact the last obviously few years, but she's obviously saying that, you know, she's now experienced that herself, losing her beloved husband. So I think it's quite special that she's actually kind of talked to us about it, and I'm sure there'll be people out there who have gone through the exact same this year and will appreciate the fact that she's actually kind of talking about her loss as well.
I definitely agree with you, and Merry Christmas to you too. And of course, as you say, it has been an extremely difficult year for the Queen. She's lost her husband, there's been controversy surrounding the royal family, and she's had to cancel engagements due to poor health as well, and she spoke about that in her speech. Let's take a quick look at that.
Although it's a time of great happiness and good cheer for many, Christmas can be hard for those who have lost loved ones. This year especially, I understand why. But for me, in the months since the death of my beloved Philip, I have drawn great comfort from the warmth and affection of the many tributes to his life and work from around the country, the Commonwealth, and the world.
Grant, as you say, probably very comforting words from the Queen to other people who have lost loved ones this year. A difficult year for the Queen. Do you think that she'll be glad to look ahead to 2022?
Yes, I think so. I mean, obviously, next year we've got the celebrations of the Platinum Jubilee, and I think that's what the focus will be on. And of course, everybody wants to see the Queen kind of back to, can I say, returning to kind of full duties. But we've got to remember, I mean, next year she's 96. Interestingly, a weird fact, that was her 69th broadcast. Next year's her 70th. She's only ever missed one Christmas broadcast. So, she's quite remarkable. I mean, most people retired 20, 30 years before, and she's still ongoing. And I think with the fact that she has obviously had poor health over the last few months, losing her husband, and with everything else going on, I think the nation in general kind of feel protective of her. I've noticed a lot of friends and family generally concerned and worried, and even friends and family that are not supporters of the royal family. They actually have a lot of admiration and respect for the Queen. And I think a lot of people, dare I say, I think even Republicans have said it as well. I think they respect her as a person and what she's done. And she is remarkable that she just doesn't want to stop. And, I hope I can be the same if I get to that age.
She also mentioned the arrival of some new royals this year, Grant, but there was no mention of Meghan and Harry. What are your thoughts on that? Are we reading too much into this?
Difficult. I mean, some people say you can read too much into it. You can't. I mean, she doesn't mention every member of the royal family during this speech. And I know a few years ago it was obviously noted that when there was photographs placed around, they were obviously missing from those photographs. And I don't think it's so much kind of. I don't think there's kind of plan to it. I think it's quite simply that it's kind of been said that the future of the monarchy is obviously Prince Charles, the Duchess of Cornwall, and Prince William, his wife, the Duchess of Cambridge, and their children. And that is the future. I think without question there is going to be a slimmed down monarchy once, and I hope it's many years away, but once the Queen is no longer with us, I think it is going to change. And I think that's kind of what she's already doing. I think she's kind of showing us all this is the future of the monarchy. Prince Harry and his wife Duchess of Sussex and their children will always be part of the royal family. That's never going to change, but they're no longer working members. So there's members of the royal family across the country, across the world, who are there. They support the family and what they do, but they don't take an active role. And I think that's the reality going forward. Is that what William and Meghan, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, do themselves is going to be very separate and different to what the royal family are doing. But on saying that, it's interesting with the younger royals how they are kind of changing the monarchy. I mean, a lot of people say that you see that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex do kind of things that celebrities do. But then it was lovely last night watching the service where you saw the Duchess of Cambridge actually playing the piano. And so many people can't believe she's played the piano. Well, she's very good at playing the piano. And it's quite interesting. People are shocked that a future queen can play the piano. But, this is what the younger royals are doing. They're kind of showing that, like all of us,
Harold, I'm going to have to leave you there, I'm afraid. We're very tight on time in this segment, but thank you so much for your time. We're very grateful that you spent some of your Christmas Day with us after the Queen's broadcast. That's Grant Harold, former royal butler to Prince Charles, William and Harry. We're very grateful for having him on.
Yeah, well, coming up for the rest of the hour, Mercy Muroki will guide you through her favourite moments of the year in this seasonal special with fiery debates and heartfelt moments in a very Mercy Christmas. But first, here is your weather.
It's time to remind ourselves there's always another winter. Canary Islands sponsors the weather.
Looking ahead to this evening's weather, and the UK is looking rather wet across southern and central areas, and windy too. Let's take a look at the details. In Plymouth, the band of rain will gradually clear southwest across England this evening, giving a drier end to the day in Devon and Cornwall with some clear spells. Christmas Day will end on a wetter note across southeast England as heavy rain and brisk winds move in after dark, giving a lot of spray on the roads. After a cloudy and damp day in Wales, the rain will become heavier tonight and it will be windy too. It will be fairly mild for the time of year though. Pouring rain will also spread into the Midlands tonight, so take care if you're on the roads. There could be a little bit of snow over the Peak District too. As the rain pushes north tonight, it will turn to snow over the hills across northern England. Blizzard conditions may form as the wind strengthens too. After a fine Christmas day across Scotland, it will stay dry this evening with increasing amounts of cloud. It will be a chilly end to the day, especially in the wind. Northern Ireland will have a very wet end to the day as the heavy rain spreads in. There's a yellow rain warning in force across Armagh and County Down this morning. Overnight rain and hill snow will spread across northern England and Scotland with blizzards over the hills. Heavy rain showers will move into the south. And that is how the weather is shaping up overnight and into tomorrow.